Before we start, I wanted to share with you one final idea on how to make the most of the amazing opportunity you have here to connect. No doubt, over lunch, you have already exchanged many business cards, you've made new contacts, but how do you ensure that the person you've met at lunchtime becomes a key member of your network and is not some fleeting correspondence that you never actually speak to again? You must deploy the 3 R's of networking. Here are the 3 R's, and they will guarantee that somebody you've met becomes part of your network, and we all know how valuable that is. R number 1, radar. R number 2, recall. And R number 3 is reward. How does it work? Very simple. Within 7 days of meeting you, this other person will forget you exist. It sounds awful, but it's true. So you need to put yourself on the radar within 7 days. Well, that's easy. Send them an email and remind them where you met. Dear John, it was great to meet you at the IBM MSP event in London. Insert event name here, because they may have gone to several events and they may have forgotten. That's the easy bit, radar. Now recall. You have to, in this message, remember one thing that they said to you during your conversation with them. Now, of course, the temptation is to talk about business, to remember something they said about perhaps the industry they're in, or the service they're trying to offer, or what it is they're hoping to do. That's fine, but it's nowhere near as powerful as being able to recall something they told you about themselves. Do they have kids? Have they got dogs or cats? What are their interests? Anything that you can recall, pop it in the message now. So back to the email. Dear John, great to meet you at the IBM MSP event in London. I remembered what you said about, let's say they were talking to you about sushi. I remembered what you were saying about sushi restaurants and how much you love them. So I'm attaching to this message something that I think you'll find very useful. And here comes the 3rd R, reward. This is a website dedicated to all the new sushi restaurants opening up in your area. I thought you'd find it useful. Let's stay in touch. Mark. That's obviously my name. You can put your own name at that point. Now, why is this a cool way to handle the situation? Because you're not asking for anything. You're not buying anything. You are not selling anything. Instead, you put yourself on the radar. You recall something that they said to you. And by the way, people love it when you can repeat back to them the words they said to you. People just love it. And you give them a reward. In this instance, it's that website. When you deploy the 3 R's, at the very least, you get a response. At the very most, here is somebody who is now part of your network who could bring to you team members that would add great value to your organization. Maybe a new revenue stream, maybe a brand new business opportunity. You just never know. So those are the 3 R's, radar, recall, reward. Right, let's get back to business. One of the things that you asked us to cover in this event was how do we grow the business in this new normal? So now we're looking at exactly that subject, growing the business, and we now turn to this crucial challenge, but from the perspective first of a managed service provider. With some great insight, please now welcome the CTO of Navisite, David Grimes.
Thank you. Hope everybody enjoyed the lunch. Welcome the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is David Grimes. I am the CTO of Navisite. Navisite's a managed service provider. We have a U.S. presence and a U.K. presence. We focus on the enterprise space, and particularly managing complex IT solutions and applications for our enterprise customers. So we have 3 data centers. Flagship data centers in Andover, Massachusetts, San Jose, California, and here in the UK. In each of these 3 locations, as you can see by the dates on the slide, we have a presence of our cloud infrastructure. So that cloud infrastructure was made available first in Andover, Massachusetts in mid-2010, followed by West Coast US in early 2011, and finally, most recently, the UK here in last year in June of 2011. So even though we've only had the presence of the cloud available now going on just about 2 years, general availability, we've actually already seen a growth within our business attributable to that cloud offering that now constitutes about 10% of our revenue. We've actually seen, even though we've only had the cloud offering in the UK for a little less than a year, we've actually seen in that year it's already become about 20 to 25% of that cloud revenue. One of the things I want to do is give you a perspective of what Navisite is. What are the products and services that we offer? Not as a sales pitch for Navisite, but because that reflects what our perspective is on what we see as being successful in the market from an MSP perspective. We wouldn't be providing these products and services if we weren't able to sell them and if we weren't able to deliver them for our customers. We offer managed application services. This is a class of services where we typically sell on a seat basis, so it would be things like outsourced messaging, Microsoft Exchange, PeopleSoft. We would provide complete top-to-bottom services around these offerings. We would manage the infrastructure. Our history is as a traditional managed hosting provider, so we have strong infrastructure management capabilities. But in this case, we would also manage the application. We would manage ongoing upgrades and customization of the application. We find that our enterprise customers really want full outsourcing of these services and the ease of use, the OpEx, if you will, of a seat-based sales model. We continue to offer traditional managed hosting services, so managed infrastructure where we manage up through the operating system, but the customer actually manages the application. We have a number of customers that fall into this category, enterprises that are offering their own products and services that need a hosting partner to provide the infrastructure, and they can focus on their application while we focus on availability and maintenance of the underlying infrastructure. Finally, managed cloud services. So this is, again, it's our newest product line, driven obviously by all the buzz in the market around cloud. We actually offer this in three varieties. Now, one thing that we've heard today from some of the other speakers is there's a lack of clarity in the market around the word cloud. In particular, tends to generate a lot of apprehension on behalf of large enterprise customers. So what Navisite has done is we've actually tried to better define what we mean when we say cloud. So when we say cloud, we mean infrastructure as a service. And we mean it in a way that's meant to convey what it is for us, which is that it is the natural evolution of managed hosting. We're just able to provide it on an as-a-service basis with a self-service provisioning capability that provides the agility to our customers that they need. Within that, we offer the cloud with three basic models. One, complete self-service infrastructure as a service. We have a number of customers that have adopted the platform, pay-as-you-go model, burstable, utility-based, ultimately self-service, giving the customer the ability to operate the platform without our intervention whatsoever. We still manage the infrastructure, guarantee the availability, base it on enterprise-class hardware, and wrap an SLA around it. Wrapping that SLA around it is actually very important when targeting the enterprise space. What's the other way we sell cloud? One of the other models is fully managed, where Navisite actually uses the cloud, but otherwise provides what would be a traditional managed hosting service. So we actually use our own cloud platform internally and deliver on that all of the traditional managed services that a provider would have typically racked and stacked hardware on behalf of a customer. Lets us provide those services to those customers at a much more attractive price point, leverage the scale of the cloud platform that we've built. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we found that our customers actually take advantage of what we call hybrid cloud. Now, the industry has a forming definition around hybrid cloud. There's probably a bunch of different ones, but we actually see it as being two fundamentally different things. One, cloud integrated with a customer on-premise set of infrastructure. Now, that infrastructure may, in fact, be virtualized and or cloud-like. It may be physical infrastructure, but integrating a customer premise environment with a hosted cloud environment, probably what most people consider hybrid cloud, if you were to ask, based on the industry definition today. We actually have another definition at Navisite, and it's one that we actually find a lot of traction with. Cloud's often looked at as an all or nothing. But for us, actually, hybrid cloud is the ability for customers to combine all of these services, traditional hosting of discrete infrastructure, cloud services, and managed application services into a solution that meets their overall needs. So a complex IT solution that can leverage all of these capabilities. And we do find about 50% of our customers on the platform leverage more than one of these sets of services, and in particular, combine cloud services with traditional managed hosting in our data centers. So across these areas, we've seen historical growth in our managed application and managed hosting in the 15 to 16% range, and we expect to see that same growth going forward. We see tremendous growth in the cloud. Obviously, it's a newer product, but we've seen growth that far exceeds any of the numbers that we've seen across the traditional product lines. Perhaps most interestingly, that growth has not come at the expense or to the detriment of the growth in our other product areas. What we think that means is that as customers realize the benefits of cloud, it isn't just about cost. We've also heard a little bit about that today so far. It really isn't just about cost savings. In a lot of ways, it's about agility and capabilities that you can then take advantage of when using a cloud platform, but it doesn't lessen the need for some of these other traditional services. And the way in which we combine and offer these products and services together as a solution, I think, has led to that lack of deterioration of that market. I wanted to talk about a few of our customers, give you a sense of the way these products and services are being used, and how we sold some of these deals. So Cooper Gay here is a local insurance company and was actually brought to us through a reseller. We actually leverage reseller and partner channels here in the UK quite a bit. This was one deal, came in about $200K US monthly recurring, brought to us as a managed provider through a reseller channel. We have Telstra up there. Telstra actually is a white label consumer of our cloud platform. We've actually deployed a white label version of our NaviCloud platform, branded for Telstra. So we actually go to market through a combination of reseller channel and actually through white label. Talk about a few use cases here of how some of these customers have actually leveraged our products and services to meet their needs. So ASOS, here in the middle, local online fashion retailer, using our cloud platform in the first flavor, so as the pure self-service infrastructure as a service, combining cost benefits and primarily agility, and have moved a lot of their test dev into our platform. DMSI, it's a US-based document management company. Interesting use case. They're actually a long-standing Navisite customer who has moved to cloud, but not in a way that has, again, decreased their revenue based on the last slide and the growth numbers, but has grown their business by deploying net new onto the cloud. And they fall into the hybrid category because they do combine their legacy hosted infrastructure, again, been with Navisite for actually about 7 or 8 years, and have now combined it with our cloud offering to be able to grow their business. And we actually provide a set of managed services for them, so they aren't just a pure infrastructure as a service, self-service consumer, actually cloud plus managed services layered on top. Finally, Legg Mason. Perhaps one of our larger recent deals actually comes in around $600K monthly US, so significant deal. Consuming actually the entire breadth of our service portfolio. So they have messaging, they have PeopleSoft, they have fully managed outsourced IT that combines physical infrastructure and cloud services. Ultimately, the way that we look at our product portfolio and the services that we offer the market is we have a toolkit. We have a set of building blocks. And when we're selling into the enterprise space, the thing that we think is most important is understanding that it's not a one-size-fits-all market. So we take that set of building blocks and combine them to meet the needs of each of those customers. It's kind of in the essence of a complex IT deal. So how have we gotten to where we are? I've actually been with Navisite through acquisition in 2002 of a company that I was actually with for about 7 years before that in the same space. So I've been with the company essentially for about 16, 17 years through its entire evolution. We've been in a lot of different markets, played in a lot of different verticals within the industry, and we've realized that some of those verticals have worked for us. Many of them haven't. Many of them have become saturated, if you will, in the market. So for a long time, we actually had a CDN business, but we found that as we wanted to narrow the focus of the products and services that we offered, that wasn't core to our capabilities, and so we've actually gotten out of that market. So one thing that's been important in our evolution is realizing when to add products and services, which products and services we should add to our portfolio, and perhaps more importantly, when to not try to support those products and services. We used to aggressively try to target the SMB market. Again, saturated. Competition for us as a managed services provider, where we want to provide those services that have the higher margins, as we saw earlier, can't compete in the SMB space when you structure and organize your company around providing enterprise-level services. We've actually made some acquisitions to increase our portfolio. We acquired a company that had a Lawson and Kronos managed practice, similar to our PeopleSoft business, where we thought, okay, let's combine those, offer a managed application vertical within our organization. We actually ended up not getting any growth in the Lawson practice. And so as a result, we divested that. Timing and understanding the things that are coming in the market is probably the single most important thing. Each of these lines of business that we really no longer focus on, so anything in the left and bottom of this chart, are things where we essentially came to the market and were chasing. We were on the tail end of the wave for each of these products and services. So what's coming next? Well, for the past 2 years, and actually it was about mid-2009, so we went to market, as you saw initially, with our cloud offering in mid-2010. It was actually mid-29 that we made a strategic decision to invest significantly in research and development capabilities to bring a cloud product to market. So cloud was still a buzzword back then, and cloud was still something that, well, we have about 200 people in the room. You probably would have gotten about 400 different definitions of cloud if you were to ask. So we decided at that time that we were going to make a strategic play, make the investment, establish the R&D capability, and bring a product to market. And this time, we actually hit the leading edge of the wave. And so we feel as though timing the market with these products and services is absolutely critical. We also think that as a result, our ability to white label our solution and our ability to sell our solution through the channel is a way that a number of people can bring a cloud product to market, in particular a managed service offering based around cloud to market, without having to create one themselves. Because starting that development effort now is likely to not yield product for 12 to 18 months, and by then the wave may have crashed. I shudder to say we'll actually not see cloud in the future. We certainly will, but it'll become a saturated market. So what's in the future for us? Well, we were recently acquired and closed in April of 2011 by Time Warner Cable. Probably not a name well known here, fairly large cable provider in the US. But it's not a well-known name here, so it doesn't really give us brand here in the UK. So what's our route to market here? Well, it's largely through the channel. And we actually have a number of relationships here in the channel. And Mark Hart, Mark, if you'd just stand up for a minute, just to like to get people to see your face, as he'll be available as a contact for Navisite here. He runs our channel group here in the UK. Strategic alliances are critical to us. As we bring products and services to market, we need to have vendors that are partners to us. We need to have relationships with those vendors because we're going to provide a level of service to our customers, and again, wrap it in an SLA so that we can rely on those vendors so that we in turn have SLAs with them and access to the latest and greatest technology and the best support that they can provide us. To that end, we build out all of our offerings on enterprise-class hardware. Cisco networking infrastructure in the data center, IBM XIB storage on the back end, Actifio for data protection. All enterprise-class solutions that we combine in that building block form to provide products and services to the enterprise customer. Finally, we're going to continue aggressive development of our cloud offering. We do feel that that's still the largest growth area available to us as a managed services provider. Again, because of increased margin by leveraging that platform to deliver our traditional services, but also through the direct sales model, and because of the agility and new opportunities that it brings. Thinking of things like desktop as a service, thinking of things like business continuity and disaster recovery. The model can change significantly when you look at cloud-based infrastructure and address some of those business problems. So we see continued investment in the cloud platform, research and development, adding to the product portfolio over the next roughly 12 to 18 months. Here's mine and Mark's contact info. It's the end of the material I had prepared for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, David.